Hey, and welcome to the second week of MTB WOD. This is Monday's workout, and today's fundamental is going to be the deadlift. Okay, so this is going to be the second of the main big lifts. So your squat and your deadlift. Last week was squat, this week's deadlift. Wait till the band's gone by. We're going to do 5 sets of 5. Okay, so we're going to work up to a heavy weight for 5 reps, and then we're going to do another 4 sets of that afterwards. Okay, we're going to go through the technique of that. And we're going to go through a little warm-up before we do it. Afterwards we're going to do a metcon, metabolic conditioner, and we're going to do a little bit of mobility at the end to round that off. Okay, so let's get started. It's a very cold day, there is snow on the ground, we're outside and I'm in shorts, so let's get started. For the warm-up, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of hamstring mobility to start with. So we're going to step the feet far outside of shoulder width, okay? So quite a big split there. What we're going to do is we're going to send our hips back, keeping our legs straight, but a soft knee. You're going to send the hips back until you feel hamstring tension. You're going to reach the hands out in front and push your bum backwards and push your hands forwards, okay? So you're really stretching the upper body at the same time as you can feel a lot of tension in the lower section of the hamstring, for me especially. I'll do it from the side. So from the top, send the hips back, send the hands forward, and really sit back into it. Try with different width stances, and sit back into that. We're gonna do that for 30 seconds, okay? What we're then gonna do is we're gonna move onto the pull-up bar, okay? So you're gonna get onto the pull-up bar, and scooch this around a tiny bit. So it's a bit of a mess there. We were tidying the hedge yesterday, so everything's been moved onto the weightlifting platform. We're going to hang from the bar. Once you're hanging, what you're going to do is you're going to let yourself passively hang. So hang as low as you can, let your shoulders go right up, and then you're going to retract the shoulder blades and pull them up. So take your feet off the ground. Okay. So you're really just thinking about putting your hands as far away from your shoulders as possible, and then as close to your shoulders as possible. Doesn't make any sense. Shoulders as high as possible, and then shoulders as low as possible, okay? And this is going to be moving the shoulder joint, getting it warmed up, also getting the back tense for later on, okay? So you're going to do 10 of those, and then you're going to do 10 inchworms, okay? Inchworms, as we've seen before, you're going to put your feet hip width, keeping the heels pressed down at all times. You're going to bend forwards, you're going to touch the ground, and you're going to walk it out until your hands go past the shoulder and you're in a plank, and then walk it back in, pushing the heels down the whole time until you get to the top, and then walk it back out again. So you're going to do 2 sets of that, the 30-second hamstring stretch, the 10 scapular pull-ups, and then the 10 inchworms, and repeat. Go for it. So for the deadlift technique, what we're going to do is we're going to start a little bit counterintuitively. We're going to start from the top, okay? The basics of the deadlift is the same as picking a pencil up off the floor. You're going to bend forward, you're going to pick the thing up, and you're going to stand back up. So the top of the movement is up here with your arms straight and your body fully locked out, hips fully open, and then the bottom of the movement is just you down at the bottom of it, picking the thing up off the ground, okay? What I mean by starting at the top is we're going to set up with our feet just under our hips, so within shoulder width. We're going to grab the bar with our hands wherever we really want them, to be honest with you. The narrower you go, the easier your life is a little bit, because you're not having to engage so much of your back. So I would just go just outside the smooth, or thumb length outside the smooth. Okay, from there we're going to stand up nice and tall. We're going to get shoulders up, back and down until we feel like we've got a very tense upper back. Sorry if the audio is bad on this, by the way. It's a windy day, it's a wintry stormer. From there, what we're going to do is we're going to send the hips back, scraping the bar down the thighs until we get to just below the knee, and then we can start to let the knee travel forward a tiny bit until we get to the bottom here at the mid shin. From there, on the way back up, we're going to push the knees back as we start to rise, keeping the knees out of the way. So the bar should have a nice straight bar path. I'll show that from the side in a second. Keeping the bar grazing up the thighs. Just use the hips and switch the glutes on to open the hip fully. Okay? So I'll show you that from the side. Get set with the shoulders. We're gonna keep looking about 4 meters in front of you, a point in the ground. So keep the chin tucked. We're gonna send the hips back, keeping the knees soft. As we come down, keeping the bar grazing on the legs to the mid shin, and then we're gonna come back up. And again. Okay. So when we set up, we're going to set the feet as before, just inside shoulder width, but hip width. We're going to go down, get tension in the hamstrings, keep the knees pressed back. We're going to grab the bar, we're going to roll it back into the shin here. We're going to get the back set, and we're going to push the knees back as we start to rise, and then come up. Keeping the shoulders pressed back, keeping the back tight. Reset. Sweet. Start working up some weight on that until you feel like a set of 5 is really difficult for the last rep or so. And once you get to that kind of weight, but the form's still good, emphasize the form is still good. Don't go to a weight that you can't hold decent form on, okay? Don't want to see curved backs, I don't want to look like the dog in the park, if you know what I mean. So work up in the weight on that. Once you get to a heavy set, stick with that for your 5x5, okay? Go for it. You know what, it's not the heaviest deadlift for me, but I'm going to stick with it today and really focus on form today because it's been a while since I've deadlifted a load. So stick with 100, see where it goes. At least it's 25 reps of 100, which is 2.5 tons, which is pretty good. When you think about it, you add it up like that, it's a lot of work. So yeah, let's do it. Second set. In terms of rest, what you're aiming to do is, like some people say 2 minutes, all that sort of stuff for powerlifting and things like that. I think there's great value in doing limited rest. Not too extreme, but you can sometimes do it to fairly high, sort of 30 seconds, 20-30 seconds. It doesn't allow you much time to rest, and it means you are a little bit fatigued when you move into the next set, but it's a good thing to chuck in every now and again. For this, 60 to 90 seconds. That's a generally comfortable rest period that keeps the workout going. Feeling a load of weight through your toes, it's probably because the bar is a bit far in front. Trying to push it, pull it back into the legs using the lats. Think about snapping a twig, it's that kind of movement, you're really pulling it back into the legs. And that'll make it feel lighter, because the mass is on the midline, straighter bar path, it's not getting away from you. It's going to make you feel way better. Don't feel tempted to just drop the bar when you get to the top of the rep. When you're doing the sort of strength portion, not the Metcon, always use the eccentric load. So lower the bar back down as well. You'll actually probably get more time under tension doing that. Some of you might from it. So if you just drop the bar when you get to the top, you're only getting half the lift. You're going to get far less from it. So lift and then lower. Interesting, the lowering portion is the bit that people usually disregard their form on, so it's the bit I would watch out for the most. Try and maintain that flat back, make sure your abs are tight, you've set up properly from it. Same thing from the squat from last week on Monday. When you're talking about setting up for any heavy lift of any kind, think about tensing the bum, and that'll level the pelvis off. So instead of the pelvis being tilted forward, it'll come level. Breathe out, tighten the abs down, breathe into that space. It's going to be hard to talk like that. But what will happen is your core will get so much stiffer than if you just tighten your abs on. Breathing into it is really, really important. You'll probably notice me breathing quite loudly when I do things like this. It's kind of intentional, and it'll help you lift heavier and safer. Part B finished, going to part C, the Metcon. Right, so you've just finished your 5x5, now what we're going to do is the Metcon. Okay, today's Metcon is going to be an interesting one. We're going to go 1 to 10, 10 to 1, 2 movements, okay, so it's a coupler, a doubler. We're going to do the deadlifts, but we're going to do them at 60%, and the 60% of your 1 rep max. So to be honest, what I would do is I would take what you did for your 5x5 today and go down by and use about 75% of that, if that feels comfortable. Okay, if you don't know what your 1 rep max is, take what you did today for your 5x5, take that 5 rep max you've just done basically, and then, you know, take a quarter off of that, and that should be a good weight for you. But feel it out, see what you feel comfortable with. You're going to be doing what basically equates to 1 deadlift, 10 kettlebell swings. Okay, so we're going to bring the kettlebell in. You can't see it now. You're going to be saying a 24 for the gents, 16 for the ladies, but if you got heavier, if you got lighter, go for it. So you're going to do 1 deadlift. Okay, so I'll just simulate it just now. We're going to do 1 deadlift, and then we're going to do 10 kettlebell swings. Yeah, treat this like a sprint, just go for it. It's going to be over pretty soon. So 1 to 10, 10 to 1, 1, 10, 2, 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, 5, 6, etc. all the way through. You're done. Right. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it's a goddamn killer. Whew. So, it's cold, it's wet, it's snowy. I'm going to head in and finish off the mobility. Go for the downward dog. A couple of rounds of that, as long as you can do, to loosen off that lower back. Your lower back will have got quite pumped up doing this. I don't know if you noticed, but the grip starts to get smoked a little bit as well. So good for the bike in there. I'm going to head in and do mobility. Catch you tomorrow.